Hi there, YouTube family. It is Joni from Smilin' Shrinkin', and I'm coming to you guys today on Saturday, I think it's the 26th. Anyways, tonight is girls' night for me and my friends, and so I wanted to make a dessert to bring with me, and so I watched a video the other day on the Minimal Mom, Dawn over there, and she makes this really easy pumpkin bundt cake with cream cheese frosting, and so I will share the link below for the recipe, and I'm gonna go ahead and whip it up real quick. She said it's super easy, so I'm hoping it is. So let me turn this around and show you everything that's in it. Guys, I did not have a spice cake. I had one, it was a year past expired, so I thought, you know, my friends deserve good stuff. So I went to 3 different stores. Nobody had a spice cake, and so I read on her webpage that there was a way to do a classic yellow and convert it into a spice cake by adding ground cinnamon, nutmeg, and ground ginger. It also calls for cloves. I'm leaving that out. I'm not a fan of cloves, so look at me, yay, making it even yummier. So you're gonna use a box cake mix, a cup of pumpkin, that's gonna go in the cake mix, some vegetable oil, a vanilla pudding, a half a cup of sour cream, and 4 eggs, and then some water. So she said you just dump it all into the mixer and it'll come together. Over here, I've got the stuff for the cream cheese frosting. Super simple. Remember, I just found it last year. I don't know how I lived my whole life without cream cheese frosting. Has 8 ounces of cream cheese, half a cup of butter, 1 cup of powdered sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla. So I pulled my cream cheese out right now because that way it gets nice and warm to room temperature, because I hear it does better. My butter already is room temperature, and I will show you that when I get to that part too. So let's turn this around and get started. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to start out by just turning this yellow cake mix into a spice cake mix. While I'm doing it, I thought I would share with you a little tip that I learned recently. I made a vanilla bundt cake before I went on vacation, and it was so amazing. Like, who knew bundt cakes were so delicious? Well, they certainly are. It lasted for like a week, and it was just as good the last day as it was the first day. Isn't that crazy? So the first thing you're gonna do is put the cake mix in. The one thing with the bundt cake, you know, because it has all of the ridges and everything, you want to make sure you butter it really well on all of the sides, and then usually you put flour on. One of the tricks that I learned was by taking some of your cake flour, the mix, before you start making your cake, and use that to dust your bundt cake. Then you don't get any of that weird flour taste. It all just tastes delicious, and it makes the cake just come out like a dream. What is that? You know what? I am going to give this a quick whisk before I add everything in, just to make sure I don't have any lumps and bumps in my cake mix. So let's give this just 1 second. Gosh darn, it makes me almost want to grab my sifter, my flour sifter. Except for then I'd have cake in it, you know, dilemmas. Anyways, okay, so 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, it said. And then a half a teaspoon of the ginger and nutmeg. So half a teaspoon over here. Smells good. I'm still kind of new to ginger, but I'm liking it. It's pretty nice. Ooh. And some nutmeg. So let me. Okay. So let me give this a little stir. Oh wow, it instantly really did make it look like a spice cake. Isn't it funny when you read something, you believe it, that's why you're doing it, and then you still go, wow, it really does work. Anyways, it smells good. I'm gonna add a little bit, whoa, I almost added a lot more cinnamon. I am gonna add a little bit more cinnamon just because I like cinnamon a lot. So look at me changing the recipe. Haven't even done it and I'm already changing it. it just smells like it needs a little bit more cinnamon. Okay, so I am taking that cake mix with all the seasoning, so it's a nice spicy yumminess, and I buttered the dish because you want to get all those ridges in there, and then you just put a couple tablespoons of the cake mix, and that way when you go to take it out of your pan, it doesn't stick, and it also doesn't just taste like plain flour, so it tastes really good. So you should try that next time. Okay, so moving on, now I'm going to start putting the cake together. The thing that's so nice about this, the one thing that she had said is that it really is kind of a dump and go. So first I added in the 4 eggs, and now I'm adding in 1 cup of pumpkin puree. So in the can it comes with 15 ounces, which is just shy of 2 cups, but I'm going to go ahead and save that other cup and put it in my freezer, so if I love this like I think I'm going to, I'll have the fixins to make another one. So right now I'm adding in 1/4 cup of sour cream. I think that sour cream adds a little bit of zestiness, but more than anything it keeps it so moist. Right now I'm adding in 1/2 cup of warm water. And then the last thing I'm adding there is 1/3 cup of oil. I didn't even bother doing that one ahead. I thought, ooh, that is a mess waiting to happen. So I am just adding a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm also going to be using a teaspoon to make that. And of course I added more than just the teaspoon because vanilla is delicious. Anyways, so now that I have all of those wet ingredients there, I'm going to try to pull up and get things start blending together. Just takes just a few moments. You know, growing up, I always had a hand blender. So when my husband asked me what I wanted for Christmas last year, I did ask for this little mixer, and it's been lovely. Although, to be honest with you, I use it so rarely that when I went to use it, I had to clean the dust out of the bowl. Okay, so here I am adding the cake mix. I also added 1 little package of vanilla pudding. That also helps keep this cake super moist. So now things are just blending in together. I'm tapping off the excess. And I'm going to move this over. Although I didn't really tidy up as I was working over here. Let me see. Okay, so let me grab the good scraper and get this. Sometimes with that thing in there, it's hard to tell if you have it all incorporated on the bottom. So let me just give it one more quick. I think I've told you guys this before, but my dad was the baker, not my mom in my house, really. And he's the one that was always like, make sure it's uniform, make sure you incorporate all the stuff. Give that a turn so I don't keep knocking it on the side. Oh, it really, really does smell good. I think it's gonna work out fabulous. So I preheated my oven to 325. One thing that Dawn had suggested, she makes this cake all the time. She said that if you're gonna err on the side of overdone or underdone, it's better to let it be just slightly underdone, because it will carry over cook a little bit when you have to wait for it to cool, and that you need to let it sit for 20 minutes and then it should come out of the pan pretty nicely. So she said, you know, it'll be a little bit moist when you pull out the toothpick. You know how you do that to test to make sure the cake's done all the way through. So let me just get the last of this batter. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just smooth this, make sure I've got it evenly throughout the Bundt pan. You know, fun fact, my bestie Chris, she's from Montana, and her mom used this Bundt pan, not for cake, but for meatloaf. So we always jokingly call this the meatloaf pan. So, yes, I'm making a meatloaf cake, sort of. All right. Oh, that's delicious. Okay, I'm gonna go put this in. It said between 50 and 70 minutes. She said on her oven it's 53 minutes for perfect. So I think I'll just set my timer for, Alexa, set a timer for the cake for 50 minutes, please. And I'll put this in. I'll check right back. All right, you guys, I just pulled the cake out. I grabbed a long toothpick and I'm gonna test it for done. Let me look. Can I get that to zoom in? Let me see if I go over here, if I can get it to zoom in. That's still a little bit, shoot. I think it needs a few more minutes. I'm gonna put it back in for 5 more minutes. I put it back in the oven for 3 minutes. So I'm gonna test it again, and I think it's probably gonna be pretty close. It tastes really good. I might have licked the toothpick. Shoot, friends, I'm so sorry. I forgot I was filming. I let my cake rest for 20 minutes, and then I put my cake pan right on top, turn the whole thing upside down, and it just, boop, there it is. So I'm gonna let this fully cool, and then I will put that frosting on. Be right back. Okay, you guys, I finished decorating the cake. I was gonna try to video it, but I got a business call and I was working at the same time, and so I went ahead and just piped it on. I know it's not perfect because I've never done it before, and you wouldn't believe how freaky strong your hands have to be to do icing, especially out of a Ziploc bag. And just so you guys know, you might not know this about me, but I have little tiny baby hands. I really do not have very big hands. So anyways, I think it turned out great. I think it looks good. I know it's gonna taste good. I cannot wait for girls' night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.